Hi, welcome to Just Here to Chat. Thanks for clicking on my video. My name is Tara, and today, the last couple videos that I've done has been about times in our lives where we might feel stuck. Okay, and that can play out in many different scenarios and aspects of our lives. Okay, so the last video we talked about how hope in particular can impact that. Today we're going to talk about the impact of fear. Okay, and how fear can really disrupt our lives in some ways where we might feel stuck and unable to move forward. Okay, and the next video we do is going to be on anger. There's many different things that can lend to us feeling stuck in our lives, but I'm just highlighting these three big main ones. Okay, so what you will notice is that in all three of the videos I'm wearing the same outfit and I'm sitting in the same spot because I'm doing all the videos at the same time. I'm going to release them at different dates, but I do promise you I do change my clothes. With that being said, if you find this video helpful in any way, please, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you find my material helpful, and please feel free to share any of my videos with anyone that you think would benefit from it. Okay? All right. So if you're interested in different ways that fear can impact you and things that you can do to help push through that, then stick around. All right. Hi, welcome back, and thanks for sticking around. So this video is going to be about the impact that fear can have on keeping us stuck in life sometimes. Okay. And it's a big one because fear is a natural response. It's geared to keep us safe in life. However, much like anxiety, which is usually a fear-based reaction, it is not always rational. Okay, so obviously, if fear is around, oh yeah, I'm going to jump out of this plane without a parachute, that's something normal to be fearful about, right? That's I don't recommend it. We want to be safe, right? However, different people tolerate different levels of risk. This is why we have stuntmen, right, in movies. So some people have more tolerance for higher levels of risk. Doesn't make it right or wrong. And quite truthfully, I'm a safety girl, so I'm safety first in a lot of different things. But there are things that I would do that someone else might be like, really? You left your house today? Right? Some people, if they've gotten to the point of feeling agoraphobic, because the way our brains work, it's through association. So if somebody goes through something that's fairly traumatic, they might avoid. Okay, avoidance is key with trauma a lot of times. So they might avoid similar scenarios or situations or that person or people like them. And eventually it branches out because then it's like, well, if that was able to happen there, well, it could happen there too. So maybe I'll avoid both places or multiple people. And then eventually it might grow to a point of, well, if one person can do it, any person can do it. Now everyone's unsafe. The only safe place I have is my four walls, right? And that's usually how it can really spiral and grow and stagnate us. Because if you are limiting yourself to four walls, thankfully in this day and age we have technology and there are jobs that you can do solely online. But in that case, I would say that's detrimental for them getting over their fear because avoidance only feeds the fear. Okay. But keep in mind, if someone is truly traumatized, you really want to get professional help. Okay. You don't want to just all of a sudden say, all right, well, avoidance feeds the fear, and now I'm going to go play in traffic or something extreme. And it's like, hello. Everything, especially with trauma, you have to take your time with it and start small. Start where you're at. Okay. For some people, it might be I can go to the grocery store today and be around a lot of people. Other people, it might be, well, I'm going to stand in my doorway with it open today. And that's a success. It's still exposure, but it's done differently. So it's really important if you are dealing with any kind of trauma, or PTSD of any kind, that you work with a professional. Okay, you find somebody that you resonate with and you work with them to kind of work through that, because otherwise, if you bite off more than you can chew, you're only going to re-traumatize yourself. Okay, especially around phobias and things to that extreme. Okay, so that's just a little side note. But that aside, fear can really stagnate us in life. Sometimes all encompassing, like in cases of trauma response. Other times, or triggers, I should say. Other times it can be a little different. It could be about aspects of our lives. So maybe going and working is great, and maybe I love working at the grocery store. Okay, so if we're thinking about fear around having enough resources, we problem solve. Well, then I maybe need to get a job, and then we find jobs. Fear can also hold us back from pushing ourselves outside our comfort zone to maybe I could get a better paying job, but it's not aligned with me because maybe I don't feel I'm worthy of that, or that I don't feel good enough, or whatever the case may be. And I might hold myself back out of fear and settle for something less that might take longer. Okay, that's still movement, so we'll take it. There's no judgment around that. That's still positive. However, could we have done it faster, more efficiently? Probably. Maybe. I don't know. It really depends on the scenario, the person, and what's going on in their life. Okay, but that's just one more example of how fear can either slow us down or stop us altogether. Okay. You hear that sometimes, people, where it comes down to, well, I want to open my own business. Well, am I good enough? What if I can't make enough money to support myself? Or, there's all kinds of fears that can go through our minds, right? So the key, much like similar with worry, is we don't want to just jump to assumptions. You know what they say about assumptions. And we all do it. So this is why it's really important to check the facts and be aware and be honest with yourself. Okay, this is where acceptance comes into. Okay, so fear of the unknown, oftentimes we have to kind of start by grounding with, what do we know? Okay, what is it that we do know about this scenario, and let's go from there. And sometimes we're not in a place of acceptance. Okay, sometimes we have idealized beliefs around something, or it can go the other way. Sometimes we vilified something that might actually be good for us. And again, that could be either based on our own experiences, or it could be on vicarious learning, right? And what I mean by that is maybe we witnessed enough people going through something in an adverse way that we don't even want to try. Okay, and I've seen this play out with relationship, right? If the majority of relationships you witnessed as a child were negative, then either you're gonna more than likely think that that's normal and end up in a dysfunctional relationship yourself, or you might avoid all relationship and say, I don't want that. From what I've seen about marriage, it's terrible, right? It's just one example. And that can go the other way too. It's maybe everyone you saw in your life were like Brady Bunch, right? Maybe it was, oh my God, it's so beautiful and they're so happy. And I really wish I could find something like that in my life someday. And then the first person you meet is a bit of a jabroni, right? AKA jerk, right? Someone that's not really aligned with you, not really in your best and highest good. Maybe you see potential in them, because we all have potential. Okay, maybe they showed you on a few occasions of how wonderful they can be, but that's not really where they resonate. Okay, but you get it in your head like all relationships are beautiful, all relationships are this or that, and you idealize the person for their potential. But what if they never reach their potential? Because again, it has to come down to willingness. We can't make somebody be something they're not. We can express our desires, we can openly discuss our needs, but we cannot force someone to be aligned with something that they're not. And the only thing that's going to make someone aligned is their own work on themselves. Okay? And that's not our job to do for them or to even highlight for somebody necessarily. We can ask the right questions. We can even, give advice here and there. But at the end of the day, people are either going to be willing to do the work they need to do or they're not. And sometimes they might be willing to do the work, but it's still not going to turn out the same because maybe they have a different love language. So again, this is if we're talking about relationship, okay? Blockages and being stuck can play out in other ways too. If you think about getting into financial debt, right? Sometimes people are fearful to buy a house or to do something that's a lot of money because it's like, oh my God, now I have this looming over my head. So maybe it's student loan debt, or it's a mortgage, or just a relocation or something. And it's scary because it's like one of our foundational requirements in life, if you think of our hierarchy of needs, is stability. But how stability plays out from person to person, it can be very different. Because we are all different in a lot of ways. We're very similar, okay, but we're very different too with regards to our needs and our tolerance levels and things that make, like I don't like roller coasters. I have a slew of nieces that absolutely love the scariest roller coasters you can imagine. I get queasy looking at them. Maybe not queasy, but I definitely don't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. Okay. To each his own. To each his own. Okay. That doesn't make me a terrible person. Just like it doesn't make them a terrible person. That their risk or whatever is higher tolerance than mine. That's okay. So you find people that you're aligned with, and those are the people that you would go to the roller coaster with, right? The other people that like roller coasters. Or you go by yourself. There's nothing wrong with that either. Some people are afraid to do things alone. I've gone out to dinner by myself. I've gone to movies by myself. I don't always want to be alone. Okay. But I don't mind being alone. But you have some people that are afraid to even sit with their own thoughts. And those are the ones that are usually the most stuck because they don't spend enough time with their thoughts to even realize that they're stuck. Okay. When we spend life in avoidance of different things, fear, for instance, it's not exactly our favorite emotion to sit in. It's necessary with regards to survival. Okay. But it can also be irrational. And it's uncomfortable, to say the least. And fear, much like every emotion, is experienced on a continuum, okay? So being nervous is very different from being terrified, okay? And we feel it very differently in our body. Terror, you feel viscerally. That can make you physically ill, okay? That could put you in freeze mode. Terror can do all kinds of things to us. Now, hopefully we don't get to that point if we're being mindful in the moment and paying attention. We're mind, body, spirit, right? Mind is our thoughts, our belief systems, okay? Our spirit is our essence, our soul, but it's also our emotions. Without our spirit, we wouldn't enjoy an art festival. Okay, we wouldn't enjoy, my friend wouldn't enjoy spending time with her pets or refurbishing furniture. Say that fast 10 times. Anyway, sorry, I'm silly. So, I love drawing. I love writing. I wouldn't enjoy those things if it weren't for my spirit, which is where we house our place of emotion. Okay? That's where our energy comes from, is our spirit, our essence. Emotion is energy. Okay? So, mind, body, spirit, it's all connected. And if we are disconnecting ourselves from one aspect of ourselves, that can create a lot of blockages. At the very least, it may redefine the opportunities or options that we are even recognizing in our lives. Okay. So I always say options, opportunities, similar. Options are only options if one, we know about them, and two, we're willing to put it on the table. Okay. I may know of a particular option, but if I'm not willing to go there, maybe due to fear, then it's not an option for me unless I'm willing to work on that. Okay. So, depending on the level of fear and where it's being triggered from, sometimes we need help with that. Or we would benefit from help with that. Let's put it that way. So, if I'm having, if I have PTSD around something, then it would benefit me to really work with a professional. Okay. I'm a huge proponent of counseling therapy. I mean, I have a therapist myself and I am a therapist. So I definitely drink the Kool-Aid when it comes to therapy because it, it has helped me, I know, in many different ways and at different times in my life. The important thing, much like finding a doctor or any professional that you're looking for, to find one that you trust and that you resonate with, okay? It's kind of like even a hairdresser, okay? If you go to someone and they do your hair, but you don't like it, are you going to go back to them? Right? That doesn't mean they're a bad hairdresser. It just means you know, you're not meshing, right? So it's important, especially with certain professions. It's really important to have a trust factor. It's really important to feel in alignment with them, right? A doctor, especially, because that's someone who is looking over your life, your health, which is the greatest asset in the world, even beyond money and things like that. I mean, money is ultimately just opportunity. That's all it is. I just saw a meme. I love my memes. I just saw a meme, I think it was the other day, that said basically the goal isn't money. The goal is the freedom that money can give you, which is basically just saying the opportunity. If you want to travel or if you want to be able to uproot and relocate, you're not going to be able to do that in this existence without money, right? So it is a tool. It's a tool basically that we use in order to meet our goals. Okay. So if you're having fear around resources, be innovative. I talked about that in the first video. Innovation. We live in a technological age where so much is at our fingertips. It's so cool. I love the fact that I was born in the 70s because I've seen this whole so much change in my years. So much change and it's amazing to me. I love technology. I do think people try to run before they can walk, unfortunately, and that doesn't always work out. But I've always been a little bit of a techno geek. I love the newest fandangled things. Just do. I find it fascinating. I grew up on sci-fi too. Sci-fi, westerns, you name it. I love it. So, two ends of the spectrum, I guess. But in any case, innovation. I know somebody who has a full-time job, okay, but one of their goals is they want to retire early. So they looked into different ways to make passive income. One of the things that they did, and this is where it's really skillful and helpful for them, and maybe you can take a tidbit here, is that they made that passive income around things that bring them joy. Okay. So one friend I know started an Etsy shop with her paintings and making candles. Those are things that she enjoys spending time with family doing, promoting it, and that's awesome. So that's going to be passive income for her. Another friend, she refurbishes furniture. Say that 5 times fast. Refurbishes furniture. Okay. And in that case, she enjoys the artistic aspect of it, and she's able to sell the furniture for more money. She spends time with her pets, takes pictures, starts an Instagram account, gets passive income for posting pictures that she would have taken anyway. So, yeah, does she have to go a little bit beyond and put the work into now creating an account and staying up with it? For sure. But it's worth it. For her, anyway. Right? So, my point is there's things that we can do with regards to those types of blockages. We just have to be open to it. And sometimes that's the fear, is around being open to possibility. Because again, alignment, what do you think your worth is? And if you find that it's not as high as you would like it to be, well, then that's an indication that work needs to happen. And there's nothing wrong with that, because we all have things to work on. And when people don't work on them, well, I don't want to say that those we've all met them, but how do I reframe that? Sometimes people appear that they're not working on themselves when they actually are, but maybe they just have more to work on, depending on how they grew up. Okay. Have compassion when that happens, because the more someone behaves, it usually means the more they've been through in a lot of ways, in a negative aspect. I'm generalizing, okay? I'm not saying allow someone to, hurt you in any way. But, I mean, sometimes that's inevitable. We all get hurt, right? That's part of life too. But what I'm saying is, from a safety perspective, know the difference. Just because you have compassion for someone or hold space for them, like I talked about in the last one with hope, do it realistically and not in a way that's going to put you in harm's way. Okay. So those are some aspects of how fear can create blockages for us. I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, please feel free to either reach out via email or hit me up in the comment section. And otherwise, I guess that's it for this video. And I will be back soon to talk about the impact of anger. Okay? So have a good one. Bye.